Hello guys and welcome to the brand new career mode on this channel. It is here for round 1 at Bahrain and now it's lights out and away we go for the start of the Bahrain Grand Prix. Round number 1 here with Golf Racing, the brand new career mode. Our teammate Dan Ticktum as well. Just to give you a slight overview of the career mode. We've only got highlights for Bahrain, unfortunately, but as you can see, we are going to go around the outside of George Russell for 19th place at the start of the Bahrain Grand Prix, going up now the straight to turn 4, and we're going to cut to lap 2 now. The highlights, we're up into P18, so we got ahead of Esteban Ocon, and going through the middle sector now, what can we do going into this right-hander hairpin? And it's looking pretty decent so far this race. Of course, Dan Ticktum up in 11th place. From 15th on the grid, which is looking pretty good, although Ocon's going to go down the inside now, so we're going to lose a position to him and back down to 19th, so that is really not good at whatsoever. We're getting massively outperformed by our rookie teammate Dan Ticktum in this career model, though. We're going to go back at Esteban Ocon and ahead now, back up into P18. Schumacher now the one in front of us that we're going to have to try and charge down. Of course, only a 25% race, 14 laps around the Bahrain International Circuit, so not a very long race. We've got to make our progress very quickly here. Skipping to lap 11 now. We're up into 13th actually, so a good middle part of the race there. We obviously got a decent amount of ground in the pit stops. Alonso diving down the inside. We're going to fall into P14 now. Ticktum still up there in P12, so he's doing pretty well. The controversial figure, of course, and we are going to maintain P13 actually. We got it back ahead of Alonso. Now Sonoda is attacking Alonso, so that's a good battle. Alonso once again coming down the inside on lap 12, and we're going to try and hold on up into P13. We still remain, and we're trying to hold on to this P13. Of course, no points are on offer at the moment. Alonso goes down the inside. He dive bombed there. What a move. Alonso tried it there, but not quite. On to lap 14 we go now, the last lap of the race. Now it's Yuki Tsunoda attacking, so I don't know what's happened to Alonso. And he's fallen back to P21, and we're going to try and get past Yuki Tsunoda for P13. Can we maintain it? Yes, we can. Coming across the finish line now to finish the Bahrain Grand Prix in P13. Teammate Dan Ticktum in P12 as well. So then here we are for a wet Spanish Grand Prix, at least on Saturday. Moving into qualifying number 1 at the moment, going down into turn 1. Be careful of the left-hand side curb. There's sometimes a landmine there, but going through the first 2 corners and onto turn number 3 now. We're still last in the session at the moment, using all the track on the exit there. Interesting lines by Ollie, but going into turn 4 you can see we're quite down on the delta at the moment. We're still in last place. We need to improve on this lap if we want to have any chance of getting through into Q2. The delta's still in the lead, unfortunately, so despite Ollie's antics going through turn 3, we're still down on the delta, still down on it going through the middle sector. So although we are now gaining time into turn 9 now, a very difficult corner on this game, and we gain heaps of time to be fair, so nearly 2 tenths up now at the end of the middle sector. Can we try and haul ourselves into Q2? This car, of course, really not very good at the moment. Not quite sure what engine's in it, but going through the last sector now, this right-hander, very difficult indeed. We're still up on the delta. Can we try and get into Q2? Going into the last couple of chicanes now, braking down into second gear through the right-hander and on the exit now, gently on the power, coming through the last corner. Be careful not to spin through this one, going across the line now to go P22, I believe. So unfortunately, despite improving on our time, I don't think we actually improved position-wise. At least it didn't change on the top left, so that is very unfortunate. Having a look at the rewards now and the results. Valtteri Bottas getting through on top of Q1. Unfortunately, we are out. I think Ticktum is out as well, or I might be mistaken. No, he's actually made it through in P16 by the skin of his teeth, so at least one Golf Racing car is through.
The Spanish Grand Prix has been a permanent fixture on the Formula One calendar for over 30 years now, and for good reason. Do you remember Michael Schumacher's absolute dominance here in that rain-soaked Grand Prix in 1996? That day he took his first ever victory for Ferrari, and we've had many more iconic moments since. The Circuit de Barcelona-Catalunya, a track that will certainly force the drivers to push themselves. It consists of a very impressive main straight going into turn 1. It's a straight that also offers a DRS zone, so it's likely to be a hot spot for overtakes. And as always, a man with plenty of racing experience joins me in the commentary box. Today it's Anthony Davidson. Tell me, Ant, you're no stranger to surviving the melee of turn 1. So how do you keep out of trouble when there's so much going on around you?
There are three main things to worry about there, Crofty: positioning, awareness and discipline. First, you have to put your car in a bit of space and make sure you have room to react to what the others are doing. Then you have to watch your mirrors and listen to the sounds around you to get a sense of where everyone is. And finally, just don't get too greedy. Just because a gap exists doesn't always mean you should go for it.
It's time to take a look at our starting grid for today's race. Lewis Hamilton lines up on pole position, and Valtteri Bottas will line up alongside. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Verstappen, Perez, Daniel Ricciardo and Norris, Vettel, Leclerc, Sainz and Lance Stroll, Fernando Alonso, Gasly, Esteban Ocon and Tsunoda, Raikkonen, Tictum, Mick Schumacher and Antonio Giovinazzi, Russell, Mazepin, Latifi and Marshall. That's it then, it's time to go racing as we head to trackside for today's race.
So then here we are on the grid before the Spanish Grand Prix. What can we do from last place? One of the most difficult tracks on the calendar, of course. The AI always very OP. We're going to go for a one-stop strategy from softs to mediums, at least that's the plan. Hopefully we don't take any damage in this race. We're going to the 5 red lights now. 4 lights, 5 lights, and it is go for the Spanish Grand Prix. A pretty decent start there. Latifi has an absolute amazing start there. Mazepin in front of us. We're going to have to try and get past him, of course. And going into turn 1 now, we're going to go round the outside of Nikita Mazepin and Giovinazzi, but we're going to think better of that because 3 wide through the first corner really is not the best option. And going through turn 3 now, we're still in last place, unfortunately. Mazepin running a little bit wide there, it seemed. And can we try and take advantage of that into turn 4? No, we're going to stick behind for now. Try and take the smarter option, of course. We don't want damage on the first lap of this race. Mazepin in front of us. We're going to dive bomb him now, though. Going into turn 5. Giovinazzi still right in front of us. And we're going to get past Mazepin and up into P21 we go. And now we're going to hunt down the Italian Jesus of Giovinazzi. Can we try and get past him here? He is in front. Can we? Through turn 9 now. And we've got to be careful on the exit because that curb is very deadly. We actually nearly spun on the exit. Going down to turn 10 now. Breaking it, I think, just before the 100 meter ball. Mazepin's going to try to look out the inside. We're going to try around the outside of Giovinazzi. Neither of those two moves work. And Latifi still right in front of us. We're going to have to try and get past him now because Giovinazzi actually pulled off a great move. Schumacher and I think someone else is going, I think Russell going side by side as well. Through there and into the chicane we go. Latifi still in front of us, and we're going to still be looking at the back end of this Williams at the moment. Going on to the main straight though, an amazing run out of the last corner. We're passed up into P20, and Latifi being demoted to a position down. So our points still on in this race. I don't know. Tictum still doing quite well. I think he's still around about 15th place. So that is pretty decent for him. Not so for us, I guess, because P20 really is not good enough. Running wide through turn 3. Will that give Latifi a chance? No, it won't. As we go into turn 4, Giovinazzi right in front of us on the exit now, and he's actually going to pull away a little bit there. OP traction for the AI, and into 5 we go. Giovinazzi still right in front of us. We've been looking at the Alfa Romeo for what seems to be an absolute age at the moment, although on the main straight now on lap 4, can we try and get in front of him? We're so much closer. It's so tantalizingly close. Fortunately as well, we have driven away from Latifi and Mazepin behind. We've got a strategy change there, which we're going to accept. I think we're going to pit on lap 10 now, but are we going to go around the outside of Giovinazzi? Yes, we are. Oh, but we can't quite make it work. The AI too quick on the exit there. Into 5 we go. Giovinazzi locks up. Giovinazzi locked up into that corner. Unfortunately, we couldn't take advantage of that. We tried to go around the outside, but not quite enough into the chicane. Now, this is a really annoying chicane. I personally absolutely hate it. I always spin there and on this corner now, turn 9. Very, very difficult indeed. That was close. We nearly binned on the exit just like in co-op. And going into turn number 10 now. Giovinazzi kind of streaking away from us as we nearly spin on the exit. Goodness me. That was very, very close. Ollie, what are you doing with your driving, mate? We're going to go into the last sector chicanes now. Gio, unfortunately, is going to be out of DRS range for the straight. Unless we can do something miraculous, we try to there over the curves, but unfortunately Giovinazzi is above that 1 second window, so we're not going to get DRS on the straight. Thankfully, Latifi behind doesn't have DRS either, so we are going to be able to stay in front of him at the very least. 25% worn tyres. The tyres are starting to go off at this point in the race. Only lap 5 of 17, so still very early days in this race, although as it goes on, points seem to be slipping further and further away, unfortunately. Going into turn 4 once again, we set a personal best 2 tenths up. It seems like we're much, much faster than these guys in front. So if we can stop making mistakes, then and we can get past these guys, and I think we could really, really challenge the pack in front, which I think consists of our teammate as well. I think an AlphaTauri in there and the 2 Alpines as well. So we're going to try and catch those guys and hopefully make an impression and try and get into the points somehow. I think we might need a safety car though to sort of bunch the field up. We do have pace in this race, but it might not be enough. You can see Gio still in front of us. We're catching him. You could see on that lap, after we made that mistake, we actually caught him so much, and now we're only right behind him once again. We're going to have DRS on the main straight to try and get past, as long as we don't make any mistakes through the last chicane now. So close to Giovinazzi, but that's the problem with this track. You can be close, but it's so difficult to overtake. This is really the only opportunity. Going down the main straight we go. We're going to box a slap apparently, and Giovinazzi in front of us has got DRS, so it makes it doubly difficult because we don't really have the overspeed. We're going to try around the outside though of Giovinazzi, switch to the inside for turn 2, and we're going to run him out wide a bit, but that is perfectly fine. And up into P19 we go, and let's focus on Mick Schumacher in front of us and try and get up in front of him, and then eventually Russell as well. And then our task will be to try and get into that pack in front, which we certainly have the pace for, but it'll be difficult to see if we can get past them all. And Schumacher still in front of us at the moment, going through this left-right chicane, a little bit wide at the apex there, so we're not going to have a miraculous run on Schumacher going through turn 9. It's so difficult to follow through this part of the track though. The dirty air really, really affects you. Going into the last sector we go, into turn 10. The hairpin, which is very difficult. Watch out for the traction on the exit. Going through this right-hander now, the long right-hander, I believe it's turn like 12 or 13, not too sure. But into the last sector chicanes now, so close to Schumacher. We're so much faster than these two in front of us, but we need to try and get past. Russell actually pulls into the pits. We're going to pull into the pits as well on this lap, so going for the undercut on the likes of Schumacher and that pack in front as well. Slowing down nicely for the pit entrance, and into the box we will go. We're going to put the medium tyres on. Should be an easy one stop so long as we don't get damage for the rest of this race. What's the pit stop going to be like? Not very. What is that pit stop? That is terrible. 3-second pit stop. That is absolutely woeful. So our pit crew are going to need to get fired there, all of them. We're going to steal the Mercedes pit crew, I think, because they seem to be doing a much better job on this game. I don't think the Red Bull one's really realistic. I don't think they drop down to a midfield team, unfortunately, but we can certainly try and get the Mercedes team, because that was absolutely dreadful from our pit crew. That might have cost us an extra position in this race, but fortunately George Russell is on hard tyres, so we could still get in front of him pretty easily if we do have the pace. We should have the pace over him, but it's a question of can we get past him or not. Of course, overtaking, as I've said before, is a very, very difficult thing on this track, and despite that slow pit stop, actually we could still have a chance at getting past Schumacher. This lap's been pretty decent so far. You can see teammate in the pits, so Tictum is in. And yeah, Daniel Tictum apparently, according to the game, he's into the pits and going through the right-hander. Now we go, very, very long right-hander, and this has been a fairly decent lap. We've not really caught up to Russell, which is a shame, considering he's on highs. Latifi into the pits as well, so I think the majority of the field, if not all of the field, are going to be in for their one and only stops, of course, unless they get damage. But going across the start-finish line, let's see how many places we can gain. Mick Schumacher coming out of the pits, right there, right in front of us. Can we try and get past him or not? Going into turn 1, unfortunately, we're not going to have the pace, I don't think, to get past him. You can see, skipping a few laps into the future, I think Giovinazzi also pitted and we got past Russell as well. But going into turn 10, we go and it's just exiting the corner now and going through the long right-hander once again. Giovinazzi is behind us. He's probably going to be quicker because that Alfa Romeo is very quick in this game, especially compared to our MYTEAM cars. Bouncing across the chicane once again. Ollie, mate, you need to stop corner cutting there. But going up into the start and finish straight, and unfortunately there appears to be an issue with the car at the moment. That is not good. An issue with the car, so I'm not quite sure what that is, but there is some sort of issue, and hopefully that can be ironed out before it affects us too much. You can see through the first few corners it's not really affecting us that much, and it's an issue with the engine, so that is not good whatsoever. We need the engine at this track to pass and to avoid being overtaken as well. You can see actually Ricciardo on P18, which I've just noticed. He's quite far down the order, as we have a little bit of a glitch with the recording, unfortunately. But yeah, these guys behind are going to have the advantage over us. We've got an issue with the engine, so that is really going to halt our progress. Of course, Spain quite a aerodynamic dependent track, but still the engine is quite necessary for this straight that we're on right now, and also the long main straight as well. Both of those two places are really necessary to have a good engine. Giovinazzi, you can see, is closing in on us at the moment, so we're going to really have to defend for our lives to get this P16. Still no points, unfortunately. I don't think points are really possible in the remainder of this race, but we could still hold on to P16. We have a massive moment out of the last chicane, and Giovinazzi right behind now. Can he try and get past? Down the main straight we go. Ricciardo as well is having a look at us. 3 wide down the main straight, and Ricciardo and Giovinazzi breezing past us with the DRS. DRS, slipstream, and our engine problems are really not helping us at all down the main straight. Unfortunately, we just lost out to both of those guys down into P18. Ricciardo actually got past both of us there, so he gained 2 positions, we lost 2 positions, and unfortunately for us, yeah, that is really not good at all. Giovinazzi, of course, staying neutral in that P17, but we're going to need to try and get back past him. I don't think we'll have the pace though, which is a shame. Russell behind us as well. His hard tyres may come into their own at the end of this race, because of course the mediums will start to wear out. It's only a 25% race, but tyre wear will still impact us at the end of it. So Russell may have a chance to get past us. We're going to have to try and defend from him, although he does have a Mercedes engine, which I think is the second best in this game. So we're really going to need to make the car as wide as the track at the moment, to try and keep this Williams behind us. Russell, of course, as well, one of the best drivers on the grid, I'd say. So going through the last chicane we go, and Russell is still right behind us, lurking like a monster. And down onto the pit straight we go, and Russell is going to have DRS. We've got an engine problem. He's got slipstream as well, and probably overtake mode. So let's see what Russell can do. He's not quite close enough though into turn 1. Surprisingly, considering all those things that I stated before, he is not close enough through the first corner, although through the third corner, if he can follow well enough here, he could still have a chance into turn 4, but no, he will not, going into turn 4 itself now, and Russell still right behind us. Can he try and get past? No, still not. Going into turn 5 now, the left-hander rerun a little bit wide. Russell's going to have an opportunity to get past us, but we skip on to lap 17. The last lap of the race. Now we've understeered to Russell, and we've made contact, and into the gravel trap we go. And George Russell has been collected in our incident. Unfortunately, we nearly spun off the exit at turn 2, had to catch the slide, and unfortunately, we've lost our front wing. We've taken George Russell with us, and down into P20 we go. So I'm not too sure how we've not got a penalty for that, to be honest. Lewis Hamilton wins the race as well. But yeah, very unfortunate incident on the last lap. Just oversteering wide. We had to catch the slide, and straight into the side of George Russell we went, and that is a very unfortunate collision. Russell's still got a front wing, so he'll probably come home ahead of us. He's nearly slammed into the back of us though there, so I don't know what Russell is doing. But you can see we've got no front downforce whatsoever. Russell breezing past us. even in the Williams. So a very disappointing end to the race, and I think we're going to come home P21 because Schumacher, I think, has actually already finished because he was a lap down to the leaders. So yeah, don't know what to say, guys. Unfortunately, that was just a pure mistake, and it happens sometimes. Just ran wide and had to catch the slide. We're going to go straight across the chicane as well, and just to end the race off with a 3-second penalty, which is a nice way to wrap up the race, I guess, because that kind of highlights what happened in this one. And there we go, P21 overall. A really disappointing Spanish Grand Prix, I can't lie. Could have been much better. Could have been much better. Driver of the day Dan ticked him, so maybe he has got points for us there, which would be very nice to add to our team.
Pulled off a great victory here today. Anthony, tell me, what was it that helped them achieve this success?
Well, I honestly feel it was down to the driver and car today. I mean, we can talk driver skill all day, but if you don't have a solid team to back that, you're never going to get anywhere. When you hit that sweet spot of having both an excellent driver and an incredible car, that's when you see results like those we witnessed today.
And I can see the drivers starting to approach the podium for the victory celebrations. A real team victory today. Everybody played their part. Congratulations then to Mercedes, your race winners today.
So then, there we are, that is the end of the Spanish Grand Prix. Lewis Hamilton winning from the two Red Bulls, Verstappen in second and Perez in third. Dan Ticktum, our teammate, actually ended up in P13, so a decent drive for him, gaining 3 positions from his grid spot. And yeah, pretty decent for him. Unfortunately, no points once again for our team. But yeah, solid drive for him. Unfortunate for us that we dropped those positions in the last few laps. 21st overall, which really is not the best at all. And yeah, looking at the standings right now, Hamilton's still leading. He's won both of the races so far and got fastest lap, so he is absolutely dominant at the start of this race. So start of this season rather. So yeah, here we are meeting the media. This is going to be fun, isn't it? But here we go. Lost your teammate today, was it just not your day? They handled the car better. It wasn't the cleanest race of the day. No, it wasn't. We had that collision with George Russell, so not at all. You scraped the wall a few times. I don't think so. I don't remember hitting any walls. Maybe a bit of grass, maybe into the side of Russell, but not any walls. So I don't know really what the journalists are talking about there. They must be very silly. But looking at the acclaim now, you can see we are going to move up into level 3, which is quite good. Once again, as I said before, level 5 is what we need to unlock a new sponsor slot. Level 2 personally as well, which is pretty decent. Looking at the cash now, we'll get an extra 80k for that race, which is pretty damn decent. A total of 823,400, so not too bad whatsoever. But I think that is going to be it for the first episode of my new MyTEAM career mode. Thank you very much for watching, and until next time, goodbye.